Kicking and screaming, a group of Olympic athletes wrestled to the ground and arrested. The latest flashpoint in India after a month of protest. Demanding the resignation and arrest of the Wrestling Federation of India president Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh for allegedly sexually harassing 7 female athletes, including a minor, according to the Associated Press. Two-time world medalist Vinesh Phogat, just one of several top Indian wrestlers to be detained while attempting to march towards India's new parliament building as a part of their protest. 2016 Rio Olympic bronze medalist Sakshi Malik getting dragged away by security forces and forced onto a bus. Bajrang Punia, another Olympic bronze medalist from the 2020 Tokyo Games, also speaking out before being detained. Both Olympic medalists threatening to go on a hunger strike and throw their hard-won medals into the country's sacred Ganges River if no charges are brought against the WFI president. Singh, who is also a lawmaker representing the ruling Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, has denied all of the accusations and calls the protest, quote, politically motivated. The arrest over the weekend garnering international condemnation. The United World Wrestling Organization releasing a statement condemning the treatment of the wrestlers, saying in part they are disappointed over the lack of results of the investigation so far, adding UWW urges the relevant authorities to conduct a thorough and impartial investigation into the allegations. Indian police are investigating the allegations of sexual harassment against Singh and say he has been questioned in the case. For more on these protests and the impact they could have, I want to bring in Kavitha Davidson. She's a correspondent for Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. First of all, we're so glad to have you here. Thank you for being here to explain a little more of what's going on over here. So give us the kind of broad context of this. One, how important is Olympic wrestling in India? And two, the individual sort of at the center of this case, this politician, chief of the Wrestling Federation, they're saying, how influential is he?
Yeah, so Olympic wrestling in India is huge. India is not really known as a sports powerhouse outside of cricket, but on the Olympic stage, of the 21 total medals that India has won, 6 of them have come in wrestling. So this is a very big deal in a sport that's a very big deal. The chief in question is also a very big deal. He's not only the head of the Wrestling Federation, he is a 6-term sitting member of parliament in the RJP, which is the majority party. It's Prime Minister Modi's party. So he wields a lot of political power and influence, and it's one of the reasons that it's so remarkable that these women and these wrestlers are coming forward against him.
So Singh has been stripped of his administrative authority here in terms of the wrestling side of what he does, but he still holds the position of chief. We have heard from a number of different international federations, be it the United World Wrestling. They have spoken out against this. They have talked about this, as well as the International Olympic Committee issuing a statement condemning this. Is there room for them to do more than just condemn this?
There absolutely is. And frankly, just from what we've seen in the past, we're probably going to see this more from the UWW than the IOC, than from the top down. But the UWW has already postponed a major tournament. There was the Asian Wrestling Championships that were set to be held in India back in March, and they postponed them, or they moved them, I'm sorry, because of these protests. And they have also extended a 45-day deadline to the Indian Wrestling Federation to appoint new leadership. And they basically said if they don't, they risk a ban from international competition, which means that India's athletes would be competing under a neutral flag.
How significant is it that these women are speaking out about this right now in their home country? They're doing it with some very symbolic moves around it. I mean, talking about throwing your medal into the holiest river in India, even if they postponed that, that's a very big deal. It seemed to be something that locally a lot of people were talking about. On top of it, the potential here still that they might fast. I mean, how much of India will be paying attention to these women, and how significant is it that they've chosen to speak out?
It's extremely significant. And as we mentioned before, they do so facing great danger and great political suppression, frankly, that India has been known for, both from the media, from police, obviously. And they're also doing it at a time when India is really coming to a reckoning with its problem with gendered violence. I believe gendered violence has risen 26% since 2016, which is wild. And, honestly, India is a country where these kinds of attacks and this kind of harassment is not talked about. So the fact that they're starting this conversation is extremely important.
Where do you think things go from here?
I think it's remarkable that Singh still has not, I believe he's been questioned by authorities, but he's not actually been charged or arrested. There are still 4 pending unrelated cases and investigations against him, including, by the way, a murder charge. So I think we'll wait to see what happens there. But this is really a leadership thing. And reporting, one of the major things that needs to be put in place is reporting mechanisms for women and for athletes. And that currently does not exist.
Do you think there's the potential for that structural change? Because as I understand it, typically if there is an allegation involving a minor in India, which is the case here, normally that person would be detained under the laws, but he has not been.
Yes, and I think that to speculate, that's probably a function of how powerful and important this person is, or that he's being given, quote unquote, the benefit of the doubt. I do think that there's potential here. I think if there is an overhaul in leadership, which has been mandated by the UWW, and frankly, Singh wasn't even investigated until this was brought all the way up to the Indian Supreme Court. So you see how many barriers of how many obstacles there are there. But I do think that there is potential for this to actually enact some change.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.